The first thing I remember from that day was the laughter. Cold, sharp, cruel. It echoed through the marble hallway of the house I once called home. "Hope you enjoy being homeless, you trash." That was Daniel, the general's eldest son. He said it loudly, like he wanted the walls to hear it too. Like he wanted my humiliation to become part of the building's memory. His sister Caroline leaned against the doorway, smirking. "You lasted longer than I expected," she said. I stood there with one suitcase. The same suitcase they had thrown onto the front lawn 30 minutes earlier. My home for 22 years. Reduced to a sidewalk goodbye. The only person who ever treated me like family was already in the ground. General Arthur Hale. The man who found me. The man who raised me. And the man whose family couldn't wait to erase me. I was 7 when he first saw me. An orphanage in winter smells like bleach and loneliness. I still remember that. He came in wearing his uniform, tall, stern, the kind of man who filled a room without saying a word. Most people visited the younger kids, the easier ones. He walked straight to me. "You look like someone who doesn't quit," he said. I didn't smile. I didn't answer. He nodded once. "Good," he said. "Neither do I." 2 weeks later, I was in his house. Not as charity. As his son. The general was not a warm man. Not outwardly. But every morning he made breakfast himself. Every night he checked my homework. And every year on my birthday, he told me the same thing. Blood doesn't make a family. Loyalty does. I believed him. I believed this house was mine too. But his biological children never saw it that way. Daniel treated me like furniture. Caroline treated me like dirt. The general ignored it, at first. Eventually, he didn't. I remember the last time Daniel tried to shove me down the stairs. I was 16. The general saw it. Daniel didn't sit comfortably for a week after that. Things were quiet after that. Not peaceful, just quiet. When the general died, the silence broke. The funeral wasn't even over before Daniel started making phone calls. Lawyers. Banks. Accountants. Caroline barely waited 2 days before walking into my room without knocking. "You know this isn't your house, right?" she said. I didn't answer. 3 days later, the locks changed. 5 days later, my suitcase was on the lawn. They didn't even let me take most of my things. Daniel leaned on the doorway, satisfied. "You should be grateful," he said. "Dad felt sorry for you." That's all it ever was. I looked at him quietly. I didn't argue. I didn't fight. Because I already knew something he didn't. The general and I had a tradition. Sunday mornings. Coffee in his study. No interruptions. 3 months before he died, he said something strange. "If people show you who they are," he said, staring at the window, "believe them early." I didn't understand at the time. Then he slid a folder across the desk. "Don't open this yet," he said. I didn't. Not until the day they threw me out. Inside the folder was a single card, a law firm's name, and a note in his handwriting. Wait for the will reading. That was it. No explanation. No instructions. Just trust. So I waited. 2 weeks later, we sat in the lawyer's office. Daniel looked comfortable. Caroline looked bored. I looked exactly how they expected. Tired, quiet, defeated. The lawyer began reading. Most of it was predictable. The house to Daniel. Investments split between both children. Caroline actually yawned halfway through. Daniel glanced at me with a grin. "Anything for the stray?" he asked the lawyer. The room chuckled lightly. The lawyer adjusted his glasses. "There is one final section," he said. Daniel rolled his eyes. "Let's hear it." The lawyer opened another envelope. His tone changed. "General Arthur Hale established a private trust 20 years ago." Daniel frowned. Caroline leaned forward. The lawyer continued. "This trust was funded quietly over the years through several business holdings, government contracts, and investments." Daniel interrupted. "Okay, and?" The lawyer looked directly at me. "This trust has a single beneficiary." Silence. Then Daniel laughed. "Let me guess," he said. "The dog?" The lawyer shook his head. "The beneficiary is him." He pointed at me. Caroline blinked. Daniel's smile vanished. The lawyer continued reading calmly. "As of this morning, the trust's evaluated value is $112 million. For a moment, no one breathed. Then chaos. "That's impossible!" Daniel shouted. Caroline stood up so fast her chair fell. "You're lying." The lawyer slid a thick folder across the table. "Documentation is all here." Daniel flipped pages frantically. Companies, accounts, properties, all under the trust, all under my name. Then the lawyer added the final sentence. The general left a personal note to accompany this section. He handed it to me. I opened it slowly. The handwriting was steady. You were never the charity case. You were the investment. Loyalty deserves protection. Daniel looked like the floor had disappeared under him. Caroline's hands were shaking. And suddenly, they weren't laughing anymore. They were screaming, demanding, threatening lawsuits. But it didn't matter. The documents were airtight. The general had planned every detail. For 20 years. Quietly, patiently, strategically. Just like he taught me. As I walked out of that building, Daniel chased me to the parking lot. You think you won? He shouted. I looked at him for a long moment. Then I smiled. Not angry, not cruel. Just calm. I didn't win, I said. My father did. And for the first time in my life, I finally understood exactly what he meant when he said, loyalty makes a family.